I'm alone on this one, aren't I? Hello, you beautiful movie lovers. My name is Louie, aka Movie Phantom, and today we are talking about Echo, the brand new MCU TV show, which follows the character Echo, who was mainly in the Hawkeye show, obviously, and for me anyways, I thought this was unnecessary like most people when this was announced. But when the trailer came along, I was very curious with it. It was very much like the Marvel Netflix stuff, which isn't Netflix anymore, and thank you, Bob Iger, I hate you. But anyways, it really did remind me of it, and it really does, mainly since, well, you know, it's now officially canon, and I love those shows, maybe not most of them, but still, I think they're amazing, and I was very excited for this, for one of those reasons. I'll mention it's the first more mature content in, the MCU recently, even if you count in Werewolf by Night. This is definitely the one that is more mature. This is rated TVMA, and we are definitely gonna see that stuff, with the MCU this year, with stuff like Deadpool 3 and Daredevil Born Again, and I'm gonna stop tracking on right now, because I feel like I am. But anyways, I was pretty worried, going into this, because I heard a lot of mixed things, and actually, after watching this, I kind of liked it. Now, once again, I'm not saying this is flawless. It has a lot of issues in here with stuff like pacing and story elements. But for the most part, in my opinion anyways, I thoroughly enjoyed it. For starting off with the things I like, let's get one thing out of the way. Alakua Cox, sorry for mispronouncing that, who plays Echo, aka Maya Lopez, and honestly, I did like her character in Hawkeye, but I didn't think she deserved a TV show, but now after watching this, I've thoroughly enjoyed her character, and I can't wait to see more of her in the MCU right now, because she was a very interesting character. Her performance was really great. She had a lot of depth in here, and I thoroughly enjoyed that here. And there are also other characters who are in here that I also really liked, particularly Fisk, obviously, and he was as great as in the Netflix shows. I do prefer him in the Netflix shows, but still, he has a great presence of menacing and horror in here, with both of them combined equaling a lot, and you can feel terrified with him in a scene, particularly one, and I want to say episode 4, where it is at a dinner table that it kind of felt terrifying, and I really loved his character in here. And with those other characters, I do think their performances are great. That isn't just those two that I mentioned, but I did think everyone else did a good job. That being said, I do think that some actors in here weren't the best in here, but still, I did think they all gave a rather or not decent enough performance. What about the action? Since, well, this is part of a superhero franchise, and it does have a lot of action in here, and while it isn't as bloody or action-packed as I thought it would be, overall anyways, the action in here was really good, particularly too with one on the train, which doesn't really have any fights in here, but was really cool and very well made, and even though you can see the green screen in there, I do think that scene was pretty great in and of itself, and also the other one being on a roller skating alley, or, well, probably roller skating alley isn't probably the proper word, someone please tell me on that one, but overall anyways, I did think the action was really well made, and like I said with the roller alley one, I thought that was incredible when they played over Rob Zombie's Dragula, which I would never have thought would be in an MCU show, and I absolutely loved that scene a lot. And also, I can't believe I forgot to say this, but the Daredevil fight in here in the first episode that is 6 minutes long and is a one-shot excellent. Once again, it was great. And even though Charlie Cox in here wasn't really in here a lot more, or he was just in that episode alone, for the most part anyways, I did really like him in here with the 6 minutes that we got in here with him, and I loved that scene a lot. It is definitely the highlight of the show, and I did think that was also well done, obviously, like everyone else is saying. And I also love the soundtrack to this. In fact, while watching this, I literally added a lot of songs in here to my playlist, and some that I forgot even existed, like, Go Down to the River to Pray From, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I love that movie, I need to rewatch that again, damn it. But anyways, I really did love the soundtrack in here. I thought the songs they did put in here were great. And also the score itself was really great. It had a lot of intensity in it, and it did kind of give me a little bit of Breaking Bad vibes, which does say a lot because the composers for this did do Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. I still need to watch Better Call Saul, but still, I once again did think the score in here was great. It had a lot of, it built a lot of the tension in here with stuff like Fisk, and I thought it was very well done, and I did love the soundtrack as well. Though definitely what some people are having issues with is the editing, at least from what I've seen with some, and definitely, yeah, I don't think it's as bad as most people say it is, but still it does kind of feel a little choppily together, and it does kind of feel like it cuts a little too quickly with some scenes. And definitely the biggest issue that most people are having in this case is by far with the pacing, because this is 5 episodes long and is 3.5 hours long, and honestly, yeah, you do feel it. And it really does feel way too short, which does suck, but also at the end of some episodes in here, it really does feel like it was dragging on till the credits hit, which kinda sucked, honestly. But I don't think it's the worst kind of pacing ever. There have definitely been a lot of movies and shows that are too short, in my opinion. I can't really think of a lot with TV shows, but definitely with movies, and definitely it does have that issue in here, but for the most part anyways, a lot of it was really well done, and I did think they fleshed at least enough stuff in here, but even with that, I do still think that, well, this could have been a little longer. Also, this part will contain spoilers, so skip to here if you don't want to hear any of them, so 3, 2, 1... So, in here, my biggest issue with the show in general would be with Maya's powers, because she surprisingly has a mythical side to her, which I don't know if it's as accurate to the comics. I've never really read her in the comics, so if you are a big fan of her in the comics, then please let me know. I would really appreciate it, but still, I really kind of fell off with that choice, because this was marketed as Marvel Spotlight, which if you don't know what the Marvel Spotlight part is that they announced back in November when the trailer released for this, that it would morely focus on more street level side of things, and I really like that choice they did with it, where they're not trying to be as much as heroes as something like Iron Man or Spider-Man, but yeah, and I really did like that choice in here, and I love the street level side to it, but even though with that, it really does feel more something like a setup for an Avengers movie, or the new Spider-Man and Daredevil series, and while it does definitely obviously is more of a setup for the Daredevil series, it definitely does feel more of a setup for Spider-Man 4, with Fisk becoming mayor, honestly, with him about to run for mayor, and that he will be, and though we did hear the news before, still, it just felt kinda, I don't know, I really did wish they, and I'm fine with them doing that post-credit scene, but with Maya's powers, it really did feel kind of off, and it just kind of felt, I don't know, kind of disappointing with that. And with or without powers, I do think she's a badass. I think the action scenes with her were really great, but for the most part anyways, it did kind of feel off with that choice. So my favorite part with them doing that part in here was with the beginning of, I want to say, 3 episodes episode 1, 2, and 3, particularly with 3, where they opened up with a kind of backstory to the previous people who had those powers, and that part off it was really interesting to me, though I'm not gonna lie, when episode 1 started, I thought I was watching a different show for some reason. Like, that's not even a joke, I really did feel like it, and I did really like that part with it, particularly in episode 3, where I really love the black and white aspect and how it started as a silent film and would later go into sound, and I really did love that choice. For the most part anyways, it did kind of feel a little unnecessary, and I wish they explored it in another project, and though I did like the mythical powers part with it, kind of, where I did think they did some cool stuff with it, for the most part anyways, it wasn't really right for this show, I guess. Like, I'm alright with her having powers and all, just, you know, like, I don't know. Also, another issue is that episode 1 does feel like a recap of Hawkeye, and it really did annoy me, and while it was kind of useful for me anyways, because I did forget a lot about Hawkeye, though I do really like that show in general, I don't really remember that much, and it did feel kind of a fresh little recap in here, but still, I did wish, like, you know, they did a little less with the Hawkeye recap, because, like, it was literally feeling like the first half of the first episode literally felt like a recap of the entire show. Also, positives again, I really like the TVMA rating, because while it wasn't as bloody as I expected it to be, it does show a more darker tone to it, and even though it does have some humor in here that I did find pretty funny, I did like the darker tone in here with the street level stuff in here, like I said, and I did think that was very well done. It really does show that the MCU is definitely gonna do stuff more darker, and while they have done stuff darker before, I do still think that in here, I did think they did a really great job with it, and I understand why this show was rated TVMA, and I am glad for that. Overall, for me anyways, I surprisingly enjoyed Echo. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, and I can see in the future if I ever rewatch this again, I will probably give it downgrade. Maybe I'll even think it was bad on more rewatches or whatever. But for the most part anyways, right now, I did really enjoy this, and hey, if you disagree with me, then tell me why, and I would really like to know why. But for the most part anyways, I did thoroughly enjoy Echo, and while not perfect like I've said, I did enjoy it. So overall for me anyways, I give Echo a B. So those are my thoughts on Echo. What did you think about the show? Did you love it, hate it, let's agree, disagree down below in comments. Come and tell me, please. I'm hoping it's respectful, but anyways, yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this, and my next review will be for Monarch Legacy of Monsters, Ansem Lift. Thank you so much for watching this, and also if you're wondering what's on my hands, it's, can't anime tattoos, don't ask, they're erasing, particularly this one. If you would like to see them, go on my Instagram for it, and hey, I have a Twitter now. And, also, if you're wondering what this is paint. Yeah, don't ask about that, please. It would be very nice, actually. But, overall, yeah, that's it, I guess. And as always, stay awesome.